talk about government or you can talk about God, but the two do not intertwine. It's just not, that's not how we do it.
Do you know what separation of church and state means?
No, tell me, please. Let's hear your definition.
It means that the state can't tell the church what to do. Separation of... See, the problem in England is that they had government and church as one, that basically the church was the government was the church. But in America, they wanted to have religious freedom. They didn't want to have some government telling them what they can and cannot believe. So separation of church and state to our forefathers was nothing more than allowing religious freedom in America without the restrictions and limitations forced upon them by the government, like they had in England. God is the very foundation of law. You should have moral, God-fearing people in government. Now they should not be legislating religious beliefs, but they should legislate over moral behavior. The government's not supposed to tell us what to believe, like they were doing in England before we came here. But the government can tell us how we can behave in a way that's not going to be harmful to the community. That's why you have laws against stealing, laws against, they used to have even laws against adultery, laws against homosexuality, trying to outlaw behavior that is contrary to the well-being of the community. So it's okay for the government to legislate behavior. It's not okay for the government to legislate over beliefs. Big difference. But you know, God has a government. God is a moral governor.
I think you'd be serving God better in soup kitchen right now than doing what you're doing.
I am feeding the spiritually hungry. I am feeding the morally bankrupt. You know, this campus is morally depraved, morally bankrupt. You got homos running around, fornicators running around, drunkards running around, marijuana smokers on this campus.
Hey now, it comes from the ear.
Yeah, so does poison ivy. You ever smoke a puff of that? Smoking poison ivy is bad for you. Smoking marijuana is bad for you. Therefore, you shouldn't do either. Marijuana alters your consciousness, so you're not thinking right. And when you're not thinking right, you're not going to make right decisions. You're not going to make good moral judgments. Your thoughts determine and influence your behavior. So God says be sober-minded so you can make moral judgments, make good decisions. Why do you think these frat boys try and get these girls drunk? So they don't make good decisions anymore. So they can get in their pants. See, the way that you think affects your behavior. It impairs your judgment. So don't smoke marijuana, you potheads, and don't get drunk. Don't trip acid. Don't eat mushrooms. Don't pop ecstasy. Don't do it. But God has a moral government. And God's government is not a democracy. God's government is not a republic. God's government is a dictatorship. Yeah, that's the mode of God's government, dictatorship, because no other type of government would be fit. God is the only one in the universe who's qualified because of his moral and natural attributes to tell us how to live. We are dependent upon his help because we don't know it all.
You're dependent on your faith. You have nothing else to see God even exists.
I sure do.
All right, prove it.
Do you believe in the law of cause and effect?
Okay, sure.
Do you understand the principles of that law?
Why don't you teach?
Any effect or event that has a beginning must have a cause. If it doesn't have a cause, it couldn't begin. So any finite existence is dependent upon some type of cause. And of course, the effect can never be greater than the cause. If you have an effect that's greater than the cause, then the cause was not an adequate cause itself. The effect can never be greater than the cause. Well, upon the principles of law of cause and effect, we know that we had a beginning. We know that we are not eternal. We are not infinite, we are finite. And a finite existence is dependent upon a cause. And that cause cannot be finite, or else that cause would need a cause itself. So the existence of anything that is finite presupposes the existence of an infinite cause. If there was no infinite cause, finite existence couldn't even exist.
Why can't there be a cause if there is a unique cause?
Never that simple.
Say there's something that is finite cannot be bounded by something
Yeah,
that's finite.
anything that has a beginning needs to have a cause. Well, you could say there's, I guess, three causes that are all one: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. These three make up the one cause, but you can't just have a unconscious, let me tell you why. You cannot have a effect greater than the cause. We are sentient beings. Therefore, our cause must be greater than us, or at least equal to us, and he must be a sentient being. We are conscious. Our cause must be conscious. We are intelligent. Our cause must be intelligent. We are personal. Our cause must be personal. Or else you have effects greater than the cause.